Well, look at this beautiful sunrise. Wow. Look at the morning dew on these grasses. Now, those would be some amazing shots if I would have. Oh, sorry, the angle was probably wrong. See, beautiful. It would be probably amazing shots if I would have DSLR camera, which I don't. I used to have, not anymore. I sold it because I wasn't using it at all. But yeah, I was enjoying it. I gotta say. I even had a page somewhere, I don't know where, like DeviantArt somewhere. That goes way, way, way back. I mean, way back. I think, how old am I? Okay, so that's like, well, it's not 20 years, but it's gotta be soon, I guess. I don't know, I think I bought it like when I was 16, maybe 17. And I was like experimenting, and I bought some old DSLR camera, and I was like taking artistic shots, quote unquote, you know, mostly like details of nature and such. And of course some portraits as well, and you know, sort of genuine moments, I don't know, in the street or something. I mean, I used to live in the capital by then. And yeah. And then I bought a different camera. I guess I actually own several cameras. Only ones at a time. I not the type of person that would own like 4 or 5 cameras, you know, which is usually the case for people that are really into photography. But I'm like, I wasn't never that into it. I had only like 3 lenses. That's the maximum I reached. So I have multiple lenses, but had only one camera. Look at that. I think we actually checked these out. I'm not sure if it's the same spot or not, but it might be. But those are the Amanita excelsa mushrooms, and I really believe the mushrooms like Seps will follow very, very soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. Anyway, very beautiful weather, very beautiful morning. And I took a basket. I was gonna try to put the basket on Drake, see how that works. And it didn't work well because he was constantly trying to take it down, until he succeeded, and he actually took it down. Because I guess this plastic clip is not really enough to hold it. Would have to be something more sturdy than that. So, you know, really, like, if I would have to do something, say like, you know, something extreme, but that's the thing, it's like, if I would have to really decide and say, okay, this was enough, Drake is really Drake is on some sort of a hunting spree, and I really have to do something right now, then I guess I would just leave him on the garden. I mean, I guess that would just be, I mean, it sucks, yeah, we wouldn't go out. I guess I could go out myself or something, you know, but I mean, you know, he still would have a free movement and free fresh air, and you know, anything he can do and wants to do on the garden. You know, it's not a particularly small garden. He can run around, he can play, he can relax, he can, you know, do all sorts of things there. It's not like, you know, 4x4 square of grass or something. It's quite, you know, it's a pretty nice oasis, I would say, you know. Draco. Yeah, well, he's like circling around and, you know, pointing his muzzle up. I'm like, I'm already getting PTSD, you know. I'm like, Jesus Christ, looking for something, you know. It's weird because I never had this kind of view on it, you know. I was always okay, and it was never a problem. Never ever a problem. He was going nuts in the first year since he got here and since I adopted. He was like completely nuts, running away, you know, chasing this and that, but there was never a single problem. He never came home with something he killed or hunted or something, you know. He never got to chase anything and actually catch it, you know. So it's so weird, you know, like this is happening now, and it's like kind of changing my sort of, I don't know, it just I felt like relaxed and like sort of, you know, we're just hanging out with Drake, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, and now I feel like that cannot be anymore because, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just the season, really, and I guess it's just the injections. It has to be, because really otherwise, what other explanation would there be? I mean, you tell me, you know, what other explanation would there be if it was totally fine for 3 years and suddenly a sharp turn right after he receives those injections and I'm giving him these CBD pills. So all of a sudden, this spring is a freaking mayhem. Why? You know? Why? You know, it's not a different spring than the one from the last year and then the one from the year before that. In fact, it's different in a way that he's way less crazy. You know, he was really he didn't listen to me that much, and he was like very erratic in the first year. He was really like running away, disappearing for an hour, you know. It was happening very often. Now it's like very stabilized. He follows me, he sticks around, he listens to me. So how is it different than the previous springs? I think the difference there, you know, the common denominator are the injections and the CBD pills. Undoubtedly, it has to be. So, you know, I'll keep giving him the CBD pills for sure, because that supports his joint and all that. But the injections gotta wait until end of or middle of summer, or I don't know, something like that. Once all the baby animals will be large enough to either stand up to him or run away, you know. In case of rabbits, for instance, run away, of course. But yeah. So yeah, so this is kind of new to me, and it doesn't feel great, I gotta say, because I was liking this like mode. Nice pooping. You know, I like this mode of like just, I don't know, don't worry about anything, and it was so peaceful, you know, it was so peaceful. Of course Drake ran away sometimes after something, but there was no way of him catching up to anything really, and he never heard anything really. Yeah, if you don't count some bugs, you know, because he hates flies and bugs. So there were times when there was a bug flying around him and he caught it in his well, he just chewed on it, you know, like he killed it essentially. But that's the only thing, you know. And occasionally rodent in the garden. I mean, if there was a that happened like twice, I think, maybe 3 times in all those 3 years, that he actually caught a rodent and he killed it. You know, that was a very rare occurrence. But yeah, like going after fun and killing it, no, that's really unheard of. Riku, poďme zpátky. Going back. I mean, if you go up there would be a pretty amazing views right now, because there's the mist Like, boy, there's the mist. It's gonna be hanging on or laying on the valley. But the thing is, if we go there is no reasonable round to make. We would just have to come back, because I'm not going through the forest. At least, I definitely not at this hour. Absolutely not. And yeah. But again, that's the season right now. You know, there are baby animals being born. There are fields that are fully grown and tall, and they hide a lot of those baby animals. There are meadows that are tall and grown, which hide loads of these animals too. And then you have the forest where they hide as well. So once the meadows will be mowed, the fields will be harvested. I mean, that's going to be quite some time from now, but at least the meadows will be mowed about, I believe, max a month from now, hopefully sooner. And yeah, once that is done, and especially once the season passes, I guess we can relax again. And then it's a lesson learned for me for next spring. No injections, my God, no injections, you know, no matter what, no injections. Because he needs to have limitations, you know, and with those injections, he doesn't have them. So that's a big lesson learned for me. And yeah, I guess next spring, because this spring I already blew it up, you could say. But yeah, anyway. Was I saying something? I'm just trying to... Oh, these are the beautiful I talked about yesterday. Look at them now in the sunrise. Wow, pretty cool. Oh yeah, it's very early. It's like 5 something. I woke up super early today because I couldn't sleep. I don't think I've woken up this early before. This is like my current record. Because I think I woke up like 5 sharp. No, actually, where is he again? Wait, what is this? Is that Drake? Oh fuck! Jesus, see, I'm like, I thought it's a fawn running out of a field, and I was like, oh God. Okay. Yeah, you know, relaxing walks, huh? Not anymore. I mean, not at least until I was saying, until those season and until those things happen. I guess I'm just gonna be jumpy and really on edge. Drejku, tady jdeme. No. Yeah, so I guess it's not my record. I guess I woke up earlier than that, but it's close to my record, I guess. It's quite close. Yeah, usually, I mean, I wake up around 7, 8, but this time I just couldn't sleep. As the previous 3 nights before that, I think I'm gonna be extremely exhausted today. Because it's just building up. And oh, look at that one. So that is, yeah, that's a beautiful blusher right there. It's not quite apparent from the cap. The cap is like, oh, but it is here. There is a little blushing spot. But what I know, like how I knew that it's a blusher, I look at its leg and there was a lot of pinkish color. So that's a blusher right there, and it actually grows close to the original one that was growing there. Yeah, blushers are great. I mean, once you learn to identify them, and you will, you'll start picking them And again, as I was saying, 100% certainty, okay? No 95, 99, whatever percent, you know, 100%. You gotta be 100% sure. And I apart from the blushing, I will tell you about other field marks that are unmistakable for blusher. If you want to sort of cross-check these to really make sure you got a blusher, then I'll let you know about the other ones too. Because there are a couple that you can sort of employ while identifying or trying to identify a blusher. But frankly, I am not using the rest. The only one I'm using is the blushing part, because there is no other blushing Amanita in here in Czech Republic as far as I'm aware. So what I am looking at is the blushing, and if there is no blushing, I'm not picking it up. That's it. Or if there's a weird sort of blushing, again, I'm not picking it up. It has to be specifically blushing pinkish spots, you know, on the leg, on the cap, when you cut it, then on the cuts, or if you see it being chewed on by slugs, then on that part it's going to be pinkish. Or if there are worms inside, it's usually in the leg when you cut it. In those holes made by the worms, they're pinkish, you know. So it has to have that. If it doesn't have it, it's not a blusher. Don't pick it up. And one thing about blushers, good to know thing, is blushers have to be cooked thoroughly for at least 15 minutes. I usually go for 20 minutes, but like as far as I'm aware, in all the guides there is 15 minutes or 12 to 15 or something like that. I usually go 20 for mushrooms that have to be prepared longer, just to be sure, so that it's more easily digestible and all that. It's not gonna kill you if you're gonna cook it for 10 minutes. It's just that it has certain substances in it that are broken down by the heat. That hold on, let me go through here. That are broken down by the heat. That, for instance, in case of the Amanita rubescens, which is the blusher, there's a deer. Oh, there's a deer. Drejku, pojď sem, tady jdeme. Okay, yeah, that was a deer, and it was not particularly large. I feel like it was like sub-adult one. Still fast enough to escape Drake for sure, but you know. So, you know, I thought I'm gonna go that way, but let's just go back on the road. Jesus Christ. I mean, especially when it's this early. Drejku, tady jdeme po té cestě, jo? Especially when it's this early. I mean, the animals are most active. You know, very often most active early in the morning, and sort of like late night, you know, like dusk and sunrise. And of course some animals are very active in the night, but I feel like the activity sort of is peaking towards like very early in the morning and dusk, you know. And then in the afternoon is just, you know, peace and quiet, which makes me think, okay, maybe I could go out with Drake in the afternoon. But I mean, I'm going out with him so that he, you know, poops and pees and do all that. I mean, he can do peeing on the garden and pooping as well, by the way, but he wouldn't hold it, you know, until the afternoon. So he would be pooping on the garden, and then, you know, kind of defeats the point. Of course, it's about his movement, it's about him enjoying outside as well, but also so that we don't have poop all over the place. And actually it wouldn't be all over the place, because he goes into only one particular spot in the garden, which is great, so I can just easily clean it after him. But yeah, it's just, you know, like morning makes most sense for us. And if I wake up at 5:30 or get up at 5:30, you know, I woke up even earlier. If I do that, then Sure, we were going out early because what else? Anyway, the blusher, so the Amanita rubescens have a substance in it that is breaking down by the heat, and that substance is causing, and I know that's going to sound brutal, but it's causing the blood cells to what was it? Well, it's hurting the blood cells essentially. I think it's breaking down the blood cells or something. So yeah, so you do want to cook them for at least 20 minutes. After that, they're harmless and they're not doing that. They don't have that effect anymore. There's a deer there again. But the good thing is that Drake is not really, large, so he doesn't see stuff, especially when the grass is tall. He doesn't have that vision as I do. Like, I mean, I'm not crazy tall, but I'm definitely taller than him. So, I can see the deer, but he can't. And you know what? It's probably not a deer even. It's probably just a piece of wood, now that I think about it. Looked like a butt of a deer, but I don't think it is, because it's not moving. Anyway, yeah, so if you cook it for 20 minutes, then the blusher loses this property, and it's very delicious. Like they say, it's like one of the, at least here in Czech Republic, it's one of the most sort of sought after and prized common mushroom, because it's considered to be really delicious, and it is. It's quite good. It's really, really good. I definitely have I definitely have mushrooms that are more favorite of mine than a blusher. Like for instance, I love Russula. There's this like green Russula. I'm not sure about the particular name, but we're hopefully going to come across it because it grows here quite commonly. Although it's not a very common Russula by itself, but here it just grows really well. And I love that one, and whenever I find that one, I'm like, oh my god. And then there's one which I absolutely adore, but it's my top favorite mushroom, I think. But the problem with that one is that it's very rare. It became increasingly rare over the years. I remember picking it up when I was a kid very often, finding it in quite, I wouldn't say large quantities, but larger quantities. And then really after a while, I stopped finding them. It was like maybe 20 years back. And then I swear for 20 years, I haven't found a single one for that long, until about 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago at this point, where I actually found one here in the forest here. And you cannot imagine how thrilled I was. I was like, oh my god, it's this one. After so long, I found it. It was just one piece of mushroom, really. So I put it on a pan, and I fried it with like a reverence, with like an with absolute sort of, with the utmost respect. Like this one little piece of mushroom, I just fried it and then like ate it with absolute sort of reverence, I would say, and it was so delicious, and I just, kind of reminded me why I love this mushroom so much, because, it has a very thick milk. It's a milk cap. It's a weeping milk cap. Yeah, I remember the name in English. It's a weeping milk cap, and it has a I'm just gonna finish it and then we can wrap it up. It has a lot of milk in it, like more, I feel like more than, that's why it's called weeping milk cap. I mean, that makes sense, right? More than usually milk caps have. And oh crap, there is the neighbor. You know what, I'm gonna finish later, I guess, because yeah, there's the neighbor with his dog, and they're not friends with Drake, so I suppose I'm just gonna wrap it up here, and that's about that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about weeping milk cap later. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about it later. All right, signing off.